Hello, my name is Sharyn Myrick. I'm going to talk with you just for a few minutes about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is empowerment. Empowerment for young girls, for young ladies, and for women. But before I get there and talk about the 5 specific areas related to that, I have a question for you. Do you know your purpose? Many of us do grow up asking ourselves, if not someone else, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? I think I finally came up with an answer for myself for that. And I certainly believe that our purpose is to serve. Well, how do we do that? What's your passion? Find out what your passion is. Find out what your talents are. You have more than one. And when you're passionate enough about it to pursue it and to develop it, then the rest just flows very easily. The purpose is there. We can serve through being a musician if we choose that. We can serve in the area of teaching, medicine, electronics, engineering. Whatever we find our passion to be is how we are going to serve. So let me get into the 5 areas that I feel need to be developed for that empowerment. The first one is responsibility, and I feel we all have a responsibility to ourselves to develop physically, intellectually, and spiritually. And sometimes there's a responsibility not only to ourselves, of course that would be the first line of responsibility, but sometimes we have a responsibility to others. And we need to take that very seriously. That development comes very early in age. Some of us had pets when we were very young. That's the first line of learning how to be responsible. And with each stage of life, it just develops. The second area is that of integrity. What are your core values? Can you stand on your word? Can you stand on your word to yourself? Can you stand on your word to others? If you say you're going to do something, do you in fact follow through? If you don't, you're going to have a bit of trouble with other people in relationships because they're going to say he or she is not a person of her word. So we do want to develop that integrity very early on. The third area is that of courage. When we're first born and we're being nurtured by family and friends and extended family and social organizations, they are there to support us and to help us to become courageous in our efforts. Later on, we learn some independence so that we can be a little more courageous on our own. But being courageous and developing that aspect of yourself certainly takes faith, and it takes control, self-control. The fourth area is that of commitment. Now, usually when we hear about commitment, it's in a relationship with another person, usually a marital relationship or love relationship. We talk about being committed to that person. But in the empowerment area, we are committed to ourselves. We are committed to developing ourselves spiritually, physically, and intellectually, as I stated earlier. But that commitment can also be to a project or a goal that we've set for ourselves. And in the development of that project or reaching that goal, are we going to tear up the item, throw it out, throw up our hands and say, I can't do it at the first sign? that it may be a little challenging to complete, then you have dishonored the commitment to yourself, because it does take strength, it takes mental fortitude, it takes the courage I spoke of earlier to stay committed to something that you really desire. There's something that your internal guidance says, go for it. You can do this. So it may not be easy along the way, but that doesn't mean that it's not attainable. And the last area, and it should have been the first, but I left it to the end on purpose because it sums up the previous four, and that is self-love and respect. If you don't have the self-love, if you don't have respect of self, then how can you have it for others? How can your relationships be successful if the love and the respect